Happy Friday, everyone. Back once again with Mars First Logistics. Last time we ended up delivering a turtle into a new terrarium building, and I think our mission after that is to get a water pipe set up in order to make a better pool inside the terrarium building for him. And in addition, last time we managed to set up a full carnival for the Artians to enjoy, as well as getting a couple of grappling hook items that we can use on our own builds. So we've got a lot of new tools. We've got a fair amount of money and a few. I think we also bought a few more fuel tanks, which are expensive but allow us to carry more rocket engine fuel. So our ability to carry odd-shaped objects and build out our rovers into larger sizes has increased a fair amount over the last episode. So today might be focused on doing a few side missions and seeing if we can get some of those objects that have been haunting us undelivered for a while, and see if we can just get those to finally reach their destination. You know? But enough talk. How about you? Alright, feed live immediately. Always good. Hello, keepers. Hydrogen tank. You're the one I was thinking about when I said all that. I don't even have that location marked yet. Head to the monorail station just for the gasoline. Do I have this vehicle saved? Yes, I do. Over every rock today, huh? Ooh. I will absolutely do a little bit of opportunistic mineral grabbing. Still see one in there. There we go. So yeah, before, we couldn't even climb this mountain. We couldn't find a way to actually do so. And this time, just like that. And then there's you. You little jerk. Oh, this was our vehicle for the wide bridge mission. Let's see here. This might work, but it needs a grappling hook. Hot rover action. That's a way to describe it, I suppose. This hand might be just slightly too small. Oh, it's the little clamp that I have for... It's the red piece at the end there. See, now we can just do this. We can just tow rope our way up. And then because we got 2 grappling hooks, as soon as one tow rope runs out, before disconnecting it, we can attach the other. Up we go. And there you have it. As the first trailer for the game Portal stated, with this technology, the impossible is easy. New part, grill. Yep, looks like it's about what I expected, a bit of a decorative piece. A box container of coffee for us to move. Ourselves some spacers. Looks like we need another half spacer, or maybe quarter. Perfect fit. Oh, can't forget. Oh wow, they already are. Okay, cool. God, that's such a better... That is such a better method of grabbing stuff compared to what I was doing before. One of those engineering solutions that feels so obvious in retrospect, you know? And now we have a problem, of course. Hehe. Let's see. Give them the clamps. Rawr. I think I should make a remix of this vehicle that's a smaller size. Smaller cargo bay. A terrifying mechanical beast. Yes. Yes, you get it. My friends, you're not making rovers in this game. You're making critters. These are living little guys. These are fellas. That's what they are. Yeah. Okay, rounded side facing. Yeah, okay, like that. I've got an idea. Almost. Oh, that can't be removed, okay. Whoops. Hmm. Is the spacing correct for this? It is not, okay. But nonetheless, I should be able to... Yeah. Okay. Don't mind me, you're just gonna have to see when I create it what on earth I'm trying to achieve here. Save this as a new vehicle, and then load the other one. Take that as a clipboard item. Load the one that I just made. Apply it to the front, and now we modify it. With these design changes, it actually needs significantly less articulation. That might be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actively needs to be shorter now. Even that might be too long. Reset mission. Let's see what we can achieve with this. This thing isn't long enough? Spacer's not full. Half and quarter spacers, not full. What would I name this critter? Perhaps Pack Mule, because it carries stuff on its back. Something of that nature. Okay. Order. That feels too obvious, though. And also that could apply to basically every vehicle in this game. Any vehicle designed for hauling. Behold. Further behold. Hooray! The concept is okay, but in the most delicious of ironies, I need a wider load zone for this thing. However, the concept behind this front attachment point is solid. that loading zone Conley is not for the coffee delivery. It's just there are 2 missions that happen to involve this location. This one being a starting point and an ending point. So now I can't just go like this. Wrong item. Okay. Once again, save as new. Once again, load the old one. Copy this entire thing. Load the new one. Good. That's connected there. Blast it. Keep cycling through, I should get the right arrangement, right? No. Change pivot. There. There. Okay. Okay. Save this version of the vehicle. Load the other one. It's proving to be more of a odyssey than I expected. But seriously, an item called Auxiliary Thruster? Delivering this coffee is mandatory, buddy. I gotta know what that is. I wonder, can you... No, you can't underclock a... Okay. Okay. Think, Moo. Hmm. Actually, now that this has been divorced from the over-ramping segment, there are unfortunately a ton of connection points, so it's going to take a while for me to locate the correct one. I think that is the correct one, but it needs to be higher. Yeah. Not quite. So many connection points. Again, off by 1. There. That's the one. Save again. This is what we call iterative design, my friends. It doesn't work and you rebuild it. It doesn't work and you rebuild it. It doesn't work and you rebuild it. If I can get this to work, though, this is a design of vehicle that's going to help me a lot in the future. A loose item collector that can put things into a bin. What have you done to my poor emote? It's all squished. Have I mentioned before that I am a very patient slime? My friends, I think we have a working design. I'm not flat, I'm adorably blobby. I am instructing you not to take that as a euphemism, because this is one of the family-friendly streams. Hehehe. You'll love to see it. Are you ready for the most brilliant part about this design? These drinks will be cooled down by the time you arrive. Wow. Anyways, the most brilliant part of this design. Look at how beautifully this sits on top. We have a lid. And there's no grappling points on this vehicle. There's no grappling hooks. There's no grappling hooks. And in order to fix that, I would need to remake it, which would mean I need to re-pick up all the items. So we're just gonna drive. The critter has stolen the coffee.
To another place.
Hi, I'm normal. I'm back. Oh, Lord. Okay. Iterative design, my friends. This is what it's all about. You can tell that it's front heavy. Honestly, that might not actually be helping because this thing is attached to the front. I might just want to do that. It's more from the top. That's how it be. The thing that drives me now at this point is spite and dauntlessness. As Satsuki once so very famously said, I can only admire your dauntlessness. I am in awe, truly. Satsuki's got some really good quotes. After killing the extremely difficult bonus boss in the original Murasaki. When should our rematch be? Anytime's fine, even immediately. Or in Tsurugi. I don't think we ever actually got the dialogue because it's unbelievably difficult to do. But if you clear the extra stage of that game, of the sequel, with 80% health or more, her conclusion is, this is going to take forever. I need to rethink this. Like, not even fighting these, directly scrapping these things myself isn't a difficult task. It's just going to take a long time. Don't you already do that, Conley, though? Although I suppose it's not Satsuki as much as it is, other characters, like, what's his name? The rat. You seem to have latched onto the phrase. Togamori, thank you. You truly are a piece of work, becoming a ghost just in order to just taunt me. Or going through the effort of becoming a ghost just in order to taunt me. Yep. Ooh. I like Murasaki Tsurugi. It does a good job of the mistaken identity plotline. Where it's usually done as a trite twist, but the entire idea behind the game is about the mistaken identity. Ah, not in your day-to-day life, I see. Conversation is the balm to this kind of work, you know? Whoa, nearly flicked the thing straight out of the container there. Like, I'm able to operate this machine while having a conversation, but it allows me to lose track of the time and, you know, just discuss stuff. It's nice. Look at that beautiful cover. Take two. And this time we have grapples on the front. That's the thieving critter. Yay! I found that painting vehicles green does a very good job of giving them an insectoid kind of flavor. In my previous personal playthroughs of this game, I've absolutely just made little vehicles that are almost manted. Mantis feeling. This thing controls alright for how bulky it is, too, and for being only four-wheeler. Using only light suspension, because that's what I happen to have access to. A refinement of the wheels and suspension system might be the next thing on the docket, though. The grappling hook selected in advance, that way I don't need to panic and swap to it in an emergency. And because I was smart and actually attached both of them, I can once again do the trick I did earlier today, which was swap over to the other one, latch onto something else, and disconnect the first. It looks like flatter terrain up this mountain, so... Yep. Rocky, but flat. Higher now than ever before, Conley. Yes, my entire musical knowledge comes from either Guitar Hero 2 or Rock Band 1. Why do you ask? Now this is an interesting opportunity here. Our delivery point is a monorail station. Think about what that means. I think I'm going to make the big brain play here. I could drive the whole way, but honestly, this isn't the greatest vehicle for rough terrain and general driving. But there's a monorail here, there is a monorail here. Just go around the hill. Man, I don't even remember what it was from, or like what clip it was, but it was Brad Shoemaker from Giant Bomb playing something, probably part of the You're Going to Finish It series. And I don't know, it was a Mario game or something, and he does a jump and then just like through sheer luck manages to land safely, and then goes, whoa, that was a pro gamer move. Or that was a pro move, that's what it was. Whoa, that was a pro move. Followed immediately by someone else saying, yes, that's how you know it's a pro move. All pro moves are always prefaced with the word whoa. A sign of true intentionality. Okay, I am here. We drop off the supplies. Remember all that ore we saw? It's time to use the beeline buggy and collect it. Also, once again, I'd like to just point out the, this piece is a very useful suspension tool. This vehicle is actually a little bit of a hint on how to make a very versatile suspension system. Because again, this is just the 4 basic wheels, and look at how this thing handles. Handles like an absolute dream. Kind of. Ribbon critter. I'm gonna be real. This thing looks like it has the Turbo Teen disease. I'm just gonna say it. Behold, a man. This is just a dude with wheels on his hands. Man critter. Critter man. Mining, mining, mining. Uh, if any of you youngsters don't know what I mean by turbotine disease, by the way, if you look up a GIF of turbotine on like Discord's tenor or anything else like that, the very first result is inevitably going to be a GIF of a cartoon of a kid, of just like a teen, getting on all fours and then slowly, in a horrible body horror kind of way, slowly morphing into a car. As his face gradually stretches out and becomes headlights, and like, it's not violent or anything, and it's just like a cartoon like visual effect, but it's the same sort of thing as the middle points in an Animorphs book cover. Which, again, the kids probably don't know what I'm talking about. Ah, well. It's an inevitable part of growing up, making references that nobody understands. Oh, I suspect a lot of my viewers probably know what Animorphs is. I'm exaggerating a bit for comedic effect, but... more of a general observation on the nature of time. This game does serve as a good practice for me to stretch my Northern Lion-esque muscles of just being able to just blabber on about nothing in particular while playing. An important skill for any streamer to have. I have unfortunately been made aware of turbotine, as of just now, from what I just said, or previously. I need to choose my response based on your answer to that. Knew of it previously. My condolences. Aww. One of my satellite cores is chiming in to say, Collector, one of my satellite cores, is saying they absolutely do build nests. I don't think I've actually talked at all about that on stream, have I? Want some Moo lore? Moo has a core. This much has been established, and this is the source of being able to think for slime. If Moo did not have a core, it would bounce around and wander and not take any complicated shapes, and would be perpetually acidic, like a Terraria slime. However, Moo's core is made essentially of raw meat. This was achieved through predation, a sort of urge that a feral slime, coreless slime, doesn't really understand entirely. And so, upon predation of animals, as it eats them, some of the material from the animal is compressed and sort of stored, and doesn't dissolve. as that gets compressed into a sphere, it also starts to get remelded. This ultimately forms a sphere of meat, of repurposed meat, that becomes a brain, to put the closest metaphor I can. A core is sort of the middle point between a brain and a heart. And with this, sentience is achieved. However, the primary core belongs to Mu, and contains Mu's personalities and feelings and ideas. But that's not the only core that exists inside Mu. There are other smaller satellite cores that occasionally chime in that Mu will sort of hear. And it's up to Mu whether Mu decides to give them a voice or not, but nonetheless, inside of Mu's thoughts, sometimes these other small cores will chime in with their own feelings on things. So these are called satellite cores, and they are small impulses that have their own feelings and thoughts and that sort of thing. The closest human metaphor that Mu has learned of is a thing called plurality. And so by this definition, Mu is the primary fronter of a plural system. Mu is the primary core and the largest of them, and occupies the most thoughts, but other ones, such as Collector, are other smaller cores that have their own thoughts and creeds and ideas, and you talking about building a nest out of a robotic creature building a nest out of harvested materials caught Collector's attention. Because Collector's backstory is more or less exactly that. A mechanical bird harvesting leftovers from a battlefield and creating a nest out of them. Mu's core itself is protected by a outer shell of hardened slime in order to keep it safe. In addition, all the satellite cores are also within this shell. You can think of it as a tiny solar system of meat planets. But yes, your little comment there made Collector just snap to attention. And thank you as well, because we've been sick lately. And being sick and being aware of our physical form makes everyone else, all the satellite cores, become more quiet. And so, since we've been feeling better lately, our medication is working well. We've been less distracted by our physical body. Which means we're more capable of melding ourselves into new shapes, which allows the other satellite cores to express themselves. Remember how we had a whole bunch of trouble getting a monorail to do a turn sharp enough to be able to land at a station in one of the previous episodes? that has actually been patched. And so monorails are now allowed to make a bit sharper of turns. So hopefully that won't be an issue this time. Oh, too far. Okay, our ultimate goal is that 10-kilometer marker there. And that means going through all of this mountain. We might pass by these two nodes simply because having as a future-proofing method. Because simply passing next to a point of interest is helpful. Because potentially what we could do is we could ride the monorail with supplies in hand and then use a grappling hook to forcibly eject ourselves from the monorail and drop down onto the ground below. So I should mark these points along the way. Sick flip. Maybe too far? Nope, just right. Although I should tilt this upward because we're going to be climbing a mountain. Show up at the monorail station just for the gas. Transmitter to get back up to the height. And keep going. Someday in the future, I do want to do a little bit of a re-debut, I think is the term for it, where I do a guided presentation on the life cycle and divergent evolution that is gaining a core of a slime for my species. I have a very interesting idea. Yes! Ew. That was brutal. Nature truly is beautiful. I'm now really into the idea of treating mechanical beings and like factory and automation things in the sense of a nature documentary. Like the fundamental misunderstanding that a factory is built with a purpose or things like that, and instead treating them as animals and running a nature documentary on them as if they are animals with their own instincts. And the people at this campsite are just like, hey, do you hear that noise? What is that? It is. That is what you're doing, and I'm saying I am way into it. Great idea. Okay, I'm putting a second grapple point on the front of this damn thing. Because, blasted vehicle. There, that's a good grapple point. That'll get me onto flatter surfaces. I am afraid to use the auto right in case it puts me at the bottom of the hill again. Okay. Location tagged. Thank goodness. First things first. Cool. Onwards. Nice, that warped me forward. Out of that nightmare area. That's about what I thought. Massively overshot. Actually, not all that much. There we go. While these critters don't have good control over their flight, it still serves as a great way to escape from predators and reach hard-to-get locations to gather more materials. These creatures have been observed heading over to various nests that are already established, and from these they seem to have access to their gathered resources. With them, they stock up on nutrition for future endeavors. Much in the way a squirrel will store away nuts for the upcoming winter. These nuts! Hi, Zoe. Ah, what happened to Nairi's stream? I'll have to look at that after. Death Stranding style. Slow clambering across horrible environments. That's what it's all about, baby. Where's that theodolite? Honestly, might be faster to just come out from this angle. Oh yeah, definitely. Get radio signal out here. Guess what? I didn't forget. I didn't forget about transmission towers this time. Oh, did that put me out of view? Didn't realize I was going downhill with that. Oh, okay, now there it is. How? Quite a lot of stuff out here. I can do the trick. Refuel. Transmitter. Creature. Okay. See, I'll see what I've done here. I do wonder if this vehicle's too big to fit on the train properly, though. Yeah, that upward pointing antenna is going to be a problem. But who says I need to even use this vehicle? Okay. Small form factor grabber. Wonder if I could put a tiny container structure in this thing. Mark their territory Lion King style. Don't know what you mean by that one. Oh my god, is that a joke of everything that you see is your kingdom? That's pretty good. Slow work, but it's honest work. Meow. And yeah, so delivery must contain every piece. So, reminder, grappling hooks can press buttons. If a delivery contains multiple pieces, without exception, it is every piece. Okay. Cool. I don't need to worry about missing it because I can manually summon the train at any time. There's a button to make the train teleport to you directly. Now I need to be a little worried. I can't risk it. I'll take 2 trips. Normal things happening. I love the little conductor hat. It was a lot of effort of infrastructure to do this, but look at this. I am hauling all of these items across all of this terrain by doing nothing. I'm gonna have to save all your insights for Mars rover ecological niches. You gotta understand, Kippers, speculative biology is one of my favorite topics. I mean, look at me. Enough said. I know the trains have been modified a little bit, but I wonder if this is... Oh, this one doesn't have a glass canopy. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Don't you dare run away with my items. Oh my god, they teleport. They follow the train. Oh my god, okay, okay. That's really good to know. That is so nice of the developer, oh my god. Thank you, Ian. Oh my... Come on. We're getting there. Chat, we're getting there. It is a process, for sure. But we're getting there. What Mars First is all about, baby. A little bit of Viper Deadlock kind of ended there. That tone of voice. Cool, good enough. I was about to say, what on earth are you talking about, Conley? And I realized that the meat planet was a metaphor that I made myself, so yeah, never mind. True. Although, as a reminder, this isn't every item. There's still one left. One coffee cup remains. But I can push these into the zone. Look. said poke. I said poke. Okay. Well, this station. But yeah, regarding Viper and Deadlock, I love her so much. Her line reads are absolutely fantastic, and she is an absolute disaster of a character. She's wonderful. You're that one ice dude that's like really judgy, right? I don't consider myself to be particularly judgy. Well, what do you think about me? Well, you're a criminal, but you've also ended up in jail a whole lot, so perhaps crime is not your forte. Sounds pretty judgy to me. I guess so. You know that feeling that you get, that sort of instinct that tells you, man, this might be a really bad idea. Yeah, I don't get that, and that's why I end up in jail so often. Let's see if this works. Yep. I will always take, for any monorail rides, I will always take one real monorail ride, but if it's times where I need to do multiple trips across the same thing in order to deliver stuff, I'm going to shortcut it by doing that. Okay. So now... I think I have one thing to say at this point. And that is, God, this better be worth it. Auxiliary thruster. Auxiliary thruster. Auxiliary thruster. Goodness gracious. So, what do we got? Let's buy a couple. They're cheap, that's one thing, sure. They're almost a sixth of the price. Helps if I have fuel. Not only interesting. The auxiliary thrusters are actually doing something very fascinating from a game design standpoint. The auxiliary thrusters are cheating. What these are doing is these are damping my rotational momentum, despite the fact that they're not arranged in a way that necessarily makes sense for doing that. I fly straight as an arrow as long as they are attached and firing. So, oh my god. Yes, that was worth it. And that's honestly something I should probably put onto every vehicle. Goodness gracious. Keep it the streaming, love. Like for today or in general? Well, either answer. I will. Check it out. Worm. Worm. Endless worm. Worm. Lovely worm. Friend worm. Worm. Hey Solanum, guess what? You just activated hyperfixation mode. Get ready. Another game I want to stream sometime when I actually get retro emulation running is a game called Worm, spelled that way, Journey to the Center of the Earth. It is a fantastic, absolute mess of a video game for the NES. An exquisite mess is the best way to describe that game. One development fun fact about Worm Journey to the Center of the Earth. The game just sort of ends without any sort of particularly great conclusion, and that is because they ran out of space on the console. On the cartridge, rather. They did so many ambitious things that the NES no longer had enough room to support it. And so at a nice halfway point, the game just sort of provides a lore explanation, like info, and then just sort of ends. Carry the worm. Heavy worm. Balancing worm. Long distance worm. Oh, that's why. I was like, I don't recall the worm having that far of a distance to go. Maybe we'll just use the beeline for this. Like, I might be able to just sort of curl it, scoop it up and curl it. And, Inkweavers, I ask again, did you mean in general or for today? Keep going. Keep streaming today. Gotcha. Will do. Got me a little curious on why specifically, but sure. Perhaps I'll find out. Okay, yeah, no. Tasty worm. Guess what I'm building again? It's this thing. Darn it.
We're together.
Riverside Wings just rated with 2 viewers.
Hey, Riverside. Welcome, welcome. Worm. Look at the sinless worm. Join us in following Riverside Wings. She is a professor of Japanese military history, is it? And extremely, extremely knowledgeable on the topic as a result, obviously. And is a wonderful and insightful person that I feel incredibly blessed to know. And then, as you may have heard from previous stuff here, she will be joining me for a as of yet unannounced project that will be coming up later. As a co-host for a what I call a flagship stream series. One of the streams that I put all my effort into. But yeah, it would mean a lot to me if you also showed her your support too. Oh, almost. There we go. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Look at that. Look at that, baby. Hell yeah. Oh, that's good. Switch. A switch. I wonder what happens if I press it. Oh, that might be... experimenting here. I see. It allows me to set certain actions if they are on the same channel as the switch to be toggleable. So I left-click once, and it sends a right-click signal, as I have programmed, to these two servos perpetually. I honestly want to just continue playing, so I'm going to take a quick break in order to get some water and stuff. So, if you will excuse me for a minute as I do a little intermission. Cosmic Operator says, please hold. Welcome back. Got my water. Got my new version of the Beeline buggy. This one with a, instead of a mining attachment, a grappler attachment. Or, not grappler, claw, whatever you want to call it. Good lord, that is a long power line. No thanks. So, now that I have the auxiliary thrusters, there's something I wanted to check. The dream has been realized. I can now absolutely control my thrust well using the two servos here. My friends, we have invented a VTOL. I think it's worth buying a couple more fuel tanks. Oop, now I'll block the... All covered in blobberts now. 23 fuel, that's pretty good.
To another place.
To another place through the power of flight, no less. We've got an honest-to-goodness hopper now. And off we go. What a beautifully perfect spot that my vehicle just happens to have for storing this thing. Take it careful. Ice cream. Through the power of ice cream, we have invented a steel mill. Let's get that water pipe built. Okay, this has been bothering me for a bit, so I'm gonna... fix it up here. There's number 7. Is there one? There doesn't seem to be. Cool. Good. Just those. Oh, save it. There, now it's easier to access those two from each other. So, water pipes. What's the gimmick of these gonna be? Doesn't seem like it's anything too bad. Hmm. I need to adjust that one. There, that'll do. I love this game. Fishery completed. That's a piece I've been waiting for a long time. Introducing the telescopic cylinder. A piece that I could have gotten a lot earlier had I done this mission before. It is a smooth and not fast version of these fellas. In addition, we've gotten a fork, like a forklift piece. Pretty good for reaching under stuff. Also, in a pinch, makes a pretty nice sort of fence thing, like that. Not to mention pretty lightweight. Yeah, the weight of the fork is less than a single one of these hub pieces. So a fence made out of them is pretty efficient. I haven't really done much with glass pieces, but I appreciate that they exist. Glass paint. It's pretty. Anyway, you know what that means. There. Oh. Okay, both are put on a signal 11. Give it a test. Much better. I think these even reach further, too. Fish. And we have a dedicated vehicle for this one. Fish Fetcher. Fish Fetcher. Easy as pie. Whee! You know what I just realized? I don't think I've ever made this connection. But these wheels stick to artificial structures. Therefore, I mean, it's going to be really tough to climb onto it from here, but therefore I could, in theory, drive across infrastructure like pipes. As like a makeshift road, almost. A durable space bag for a durable space fish. Lovely little fella. The front door is broken. There's the twist. The fish shall be freed momentarily, Assassino. Okay, so my grip slips if I ever get all my wheels onto the glass. The magnetism still works, but it doesn't work as well. So I need to probably do something like this. Careful. Careful, and full speed, let's go. Yeah! Be free! The butterfly mission. It's time for the butterfly mission. Ooh, that's a fascinating side contract. Mining scanner. A pile of explosives. That sounds absolutely horrifying of a delivery. No, thank you. Burger. Take that, burger. How do you catch a butterfly? This will require a completely unique vehicle design. Okay. The butterfly contract requires you to do something rather unique, which is it flies around. So you need to actually make a fully encased spot to trap the butterfly in that is also self-closing. Probably not good enough. Is that right? Okay. Cool. That'll do it. And now we need to catch the dang thing. We need to drive into it in a way that actually allows us to catch it. And for that to be possible, we need to further refine our vehicle to give it a bigger range of motion. And this is what the butterfly contract is all about. Let's see. That, my friends, was beautiful. You know what isn't beautiful? The fact that I don't have a grappling hook on this thing. Time to drive. Let's not high middle our car. I'm not going to be able to climb that, am I? Please. Oh my goodness, I think it's smooth sailing past here. So one of the things that you get tempted to do with the butterfly mission is to make a really large vehicle. That, in order to, increase the width and size of the potential butterfly capturing range. And there's the twist. Hope you didn't make it too big. Otherwise you're gonna get here, and then you're just gonna realize, oh no. Biosphere completed. The honker. We have gotten access to the honker. Are you ready to honk? G to honk. Oh, fun thing about the honker. Color determines pitch. The order for pitch color is left to right, top to bottom. So lowest, higher, 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 highest. What pitch is Mu color? Let's find out. That's kind of pleasant. Hmm. Should make sure that that thing is saved, just for the sake of it. Fuel up. Random icy shack. Its existence is appreciated, though, because that is a fuel point. And that means that we can just take off from here. Commencing liftoff in 3, 2, 1. Ignition. How perfect was that? Alright, first things first, we need to get our theodolite set up. Or radio station. Transmitter. Broadcaster, whatever. Oh my god. I'm...
To another place.
I'm out of the influence of gravity? That can happen? That's not exactly how orbits work in real life, but you know. It's fine to have some cartoon logic. That is a very surprising discovery, though. I had no idea about that. There. Perfect. And then from there, we'll be able to get another signal here. After I get some of this stuff sorted, I am going to investigate further. Just holy moly. Whoops. Good. That's good enough. Materially very expensive. Well, relatively speaking, we've done so much mining that we have a huge backlog of supply, but it's taken us this long, but we are now allowed to build roads. Actual freaking roads. And in a game about logistics, is that not the ultimate reward? Also, hey, it's snowy up here. That's kind of cool. Okay. Gonna need to do a little bit of turn around this area here. Something like that. And then from there... Boom. Contract complete. Deliver cement mixer. Oh my goodness. This is completely new territory for me, by the way. These are contracts I have never seen. I don't think there was a snowy mountain last time. That's correct. This area did not exist. If only we had a nice standard size hook that we could use to attach to this thing. Beeline buggy already compatible. gain flashbacks to snow runners. Or deja vu of snow runners, rather. Back it in? No thanks. Sorry guys, you guys are just gonna have to, like, jump out of the way. Alright, what is this? A work in progress, evidently. Oh, I see that steel beam. You can't trick me. I see the gimmick here. Oh, wow. That's not quite the gimmick I expected, but, that steel beam is not hollow. That's an actual proper I-beam. I can't just hook into the middle of it like I did with the previous ones. Nonetheless, let's see if I can just solve this real simple here. Let's see if my first instinct solution works. Ding. Instinct. No! So takeaways are I should have it above my vehicle. And maybe grab kind of around the center of it. But not entirely at the center. Oh, and I have this extending piston here, so I could use that for minor adjustments after the fact, once I get to the top. Okay, grab, flip up and over. Let's see. How can I achieve this? Does this even have the range of motion to achieve what I want? That's dubious, but it might work nonetheless. It might get me too high, which is better than being too low. Hook as close to the very tip top as possible. The I-beam that I'm carrying is blocking my... blocking my hook point. Okay. Just do that. There. Up we climb. Okay. Now for the other one. That will straighten us out a bit. Tense focus time. So close. Got it. I see that one of those isn't connected. Oh, Lord. This is a fascinating gimmick. Kind of annoying that's basically exactly where I ended up doing my road, but... And along those lines... Heh. Easy. Oh, there's a hole in there. Deliver screw. This is a cute gimmick. I really like this, actually. The idea that I'm doing smaller precision scale work for a singular building is the gimmick of this level. Oh my god, it needs to be screwed in. Okay. May need to rethink this. First of all, we can use a much smaller vehicle. This seems like a specialized vehicle situation. Okay, just getting a vague sense of relative positioning here. Alright. And then... Okay. Significantly too short. We are on the wrong side of the vehicle. A little bit too short. Maybe one more half. That looks just about perfect, but we might be able to do a little bit better if we do a quarter instead. How's this looking? Yeah, alright. Actually, you know what? Could do even better and handle this easier by giving ourselves the ability to adjust. There. Now I can do micro adjustments. Okay. Now from here, get a rotator T-junction that splits off into this. And now let's see what this looks like. I figure this might be too wide. Yeah, it looks like it.
To another place.
To another place. Can I get a ever so slight inward bend? 30 degrees might be the lowest amount I have. The jumper. That makes the... I think that's the perfect hole for this. It makes a nice half point. Yeah, that's perfect. Alright. So, now... Grappling hook, grappling hook. I remembered this time. I want to have a grappling hook on this, no matter what. Always. Grappling hook front and back. And now... 2 forks or a needle? That's the question. I fit both these forks in here. get myself perfectly straight on. Gotta get dead on. That might be just about perfect. There we go. Cool. That was a cute and fun challenge. I really liked that one. Getting closer. Whoa. Crate of apricots to the top. Yeah, okay, game. Alright. Guess what I'm not gonna forget? Grappling hooks. Oh. That's why those pieces exist, so you don't get errant connections that you don't want. No! I dropped one. Oh my god, did it hop out because the sudden stop at the top? No, okay. Okay. This needs some degree of rethinking. A little bit larger of a wheelbase would help. Tempting to use a box critter, but I'm on a narrow thing up there. And the box critters I have are all pretty sizable. Oh, got some overlapping signals. Oh, you dropped one. This is scary. It's about to get a lot worse. One dropped is fine. I can... Two dropped is fine. I can pick those up after. Three dropped is fine. I can pick them up after. No, the wire! It tripped over the wire. It tripped over the wire. Y'all, it tripped over the wire. As long as I'm making modifications to this thing to better suit it. Suit the task. Start half extended. Okay. One, two, three, four, 5, 6. piece I'm looking for. This one. Not quite working how I expected it to. How I would hope, rather. Okay. Better vehicle. Let's try again. Much closer of a grip this time. That's going to help for keeping the apricots sealed away. Actually, you know what? No, we're doing this real proper. It's going to require me to redesign all of this, but it's going to be worth it. Store that there for now. Let's see. See what I'm going for here? Reset mission, and is this wide enough? Not quite. Just a little bit more. Half spacer. another half spacer. Now that is how you carry some apricots. Look at how much more secure that thing is. And I didn't even forget to put 2 grappling hooks on it. We could practically overturn this thing and the apricots wouldn't fall out. Not to like jinx it or anything. You remember how carefully I was navigating all this before? And this time, because of better engineering work, did in a couple seconds. I have an idea. Wow. Sure, why not? We're doing this now. That apricot's looking real sketchy. This is fine. Normal things are happening. This is normal for rovers. Yeah, I think I've hosed it. Yep. Okay, I think the answer here is just we need to make this thing a little bit longer. And also, I have a little bit of an idea. No, I can't do that. Yeah, let's just make it longer. I'm sure that'll work fine. Goodness gracious. One more idea. We're gonna add a little secret tool that may help us in the future. There. Not exactly how I envisioned it, but we're here. Oh my goodness gracious. Deliver nut. Hey, it's already up there? Wow. That's gonna take some thinking. Huh. I'm also going to guess that's going to passively fall down if it's not held. Just sort of spin its way back down. I might have the stupidest solution imaginable, but... Oh god, doing it this way is going to take absolutely forever if I were to try this. Not to mention the risk of failure at any given second. In fact, it's already failing. Yeah, that idea's going nowhere. So first thought is a claw grab with needles. And I put the needles into those two circular sockets. And then from there, I need to twist and climb. How can I achieve that? That might be a question that we get to another time, because I've been going for 4 hours. I have been going for 4 hours now. And if that isn't a sign of how much I love this game, I don't know what is, you know? But yeah, I'm just gonna take a break now, and I'm gonna have to mentally, like, let that one cook. And I also have a theory on what this thing is now that we've reached this point. And am I ever excited? Big stretch. Let's look at the side contracts and see if there's any that are heavy-duty servo. Sounds pretty good. Short slider also sounds pretty good. It's also a very short-range explosives delivery mission. Okay. Make sure that's saved. Yep. Games are made by people. Let's see. Alright. Let's see who we can raid to. Let me just check one thing real quick before I do that.
To another place.
Alright. People I'm following. Kobold Val is doing Abiotic Factor. Abiotic Factor is a game in which you are essentially a scientist at Bootleg Black Mesa facility. And you are not an action hero, you are a scientist. And the game's design is centered around this idea. And so interdimensional anomalies are coming out, and you're using creativity and homemade devices to sort of like a survival and crafting type of game, you know? But it looks like they're co-streaming with another person, so tell them the slime sent you. That's gonna do it for today, friends. Thank you for all those that stuck around for this extremely extended stream, and until next time.